On this edition of Lexington Now, new legislation improves public safety and medical assistance for veterans. I'm Neil Noah. Welcome to Lexington Now for the week of March 27th, 2023. Governor Andy Beshear signed 3 new bills aimed at improving statewide public safety into law at a ceremony this past week. We joined him, Mayor Gorton, and several legislators for the signing. The first bill is Senate Bill 89, which allows for the reemployment of retired police and fire personnel on an as-needed basis.
I'm honored to be here today at the Lexington Police Department to sign legislation aimed at boosting law enforcement and public safety across the Commonwealth. Every day, my administration is committed to ensuring that Kentucky remains a leader in public safety, enhancing law enforcement training, creating safer communities, and improving safety of both law enforcement officers and Kentuckians alike. The service and sacrifice from law enforcement officers does not go unnoticed. You make our communities stronger, you make our streets safer, you make our nation more secure, and we are grateful. You are the best of us, you are our peacemakers. The safety of all Kentuckian civilians and law enforcement is a top priority of this administration. And just yesterday, we welcomed 31 new law enforcement officers into the Partnership of Public Safety. Since I took office in December 2019, Kentucky's added more than 1,115 new local police officers and sheriff's deputies to our communities. We have worked both to support law enforcement and to increase public safety, knowing it is one of the most fundamental roles of government. But there's still more work to do. So today we'll be signing 3 bills aimed at building on this progress. The first is Senate Bill 89. Senate Bill 89 allows the legislative body of an urban county government, that's Lexington, to reemploy as needed individuals as police officers who have retired from the Police and Fire Retirement Fund. This is going to help get highly trained officers that had recently retired back into the line of duty, augmenting law enforcement here in Lexington. This is a good bill that will help meet your workforce needs.
We're hoping that this will make the streets safer. We're hoping that this will make your communities safer. And we're hoping that this will make you all sleep better at night, knowing that when you go to sleep and your kids are still out, that they're safe.
I'm very pleased to see the governor signing this bill into law. And as we know, recruiting for law enforcement has been difficult. Not only are we competing regionally with other law enforcement agencies, we are also competing nationally with the public and private sector to hire qualified personnel. Senate Bill 89 gives the Lexington Police Department the ability to rehire retired officers on a limited basis. Other Kentucky law enforcement agencies have had this ability for years. Allowing the Lexington Fayette Urban County government to rehire its police retirees, we immediately offset some of our current personnel challenges.
This city has been working really hard for quite some time to increase our staffing in our division of police. We've tried many approaches. We have given salary raises to make our police officers more competitive. We've stepped up our recruiting and put finances into recruiting. This bill really gives us another different way of filling those roles in our police by rehiring those retirees who already have served here. They're people we know are well trained because we trained them. And people know that we are dedicated to protecting our city and giving the best that we can to public safety. So, Governor, again, thank you. Thank you to the senators and the representatives who've all helped us, as well as our council members. Thank you.
All right. Now let's improve public safety in Lexington.
All right.
All right. All right.
is done.
Awesome. Thank you.
The second bill, House Bill 380, is designed to expand the eligibility of potential peace officers. Here's more.
Nationwide, law enforcement is experiencing recruitment issues, and I will always support good legislation that allows our agencies to recruit and retain an adequate workforce. Without enough law enforcement officers, we will never be able to reach our full potential as people. Our agencies deserve to reach into the excellent talent pool we have in Kentucky, which is why I'm signing House Bill 380. This bill expands eligibility of potential peace officers to include individuals who have not yet turned 21 years old when they start basic training, but will have turned 21 by the time that they graduate. Under the current law, all certified officers must be at least 21 before being certified as an officer. This legislation clarifies that the training can occur while the individual is still 20, as long as they will have reached the required age of 21 by the time they walk across that stage and walk into such a noble career. This is a strong, solid piece of public safety legislation. I appreciate our sheriffs, police chiefs, and local governments for putting this bill forward. Kentucky will continue to try to find every new means of making sure we have enough law enforcement officers and that they get the best training in the country.
Workforce challenges have plagued this state, as we know, over the past few years, and law enforcement has arguably been among the hardest hit. At the beginning of this session, I, along with several legislators from Louisville, met with the LMPD interim police chief and asked her legislatively what we could do to help. This bill is a result of that initial conversation, a real attempt to help relieve the officer shortage that we currently face at LMPD, as well as shortages from across the state, by allowing law enforcement agencies to hire individuals into the agency at age 20 with the intention of allowing them to begin their basic training and become certified at age 21. This bill does not dilute or diminish officer training in any way. This one-year head start is important, and it comes at a critical time in the career pathway of a young man or woman seeking to join a law enforcement agency. The Kentucky Law Enforcement Council, the agency tasked with training officers, gave us considerable input in this bill, and we learned a lot during the process. Among those, the KLEC is working with the Kentucky Department of Education to grow, modernize, and meet the hiring needs of agencies, focusing on young adults more than ever before. We learned that this past year, they began revamping the specific high school law enforcement courses a student takes and are developing ways to allow law enforcement to identify and recruit these young candidates. And this bill helps make this effort even more achievable. I want to thank the House and the Senate for unanimously passing this bill, and thank you to the governor for signing this bill into law today. Law enforcement is our first line of defense into creating safer and more prosperous communities, and this bill will help give them the ability to hire the officers needed to help keep Kentucky safe.
Our training here for our police officers, we think, is the best in the state. It's always dangerous to say that, right? Or as good as any others in the state. And we are hoping that this, along with the other changes that we have made and that you have made by signing Senate Bill 89, will help us with increasing our applicant pool. So thank you all for your work in the Senate and the House. Thank you, Governor.
And let's sign your first bill into law.
That's exciting.
3/24/2023. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Thank you. It's a good one. I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
After the break, we'll look at the third bill signed by Governor Beshear.
Have two ways out. When fire strikes, deadly smoke can fill your home within minutes. That's why the USFA wants you to plan and practice home fire drills. Draw a map of each level of your home showing all doors and windows. Discuss the map with everyone who lives with you. Practice your home fire drill at least twice a year. Make sure all doors and windows that lead outside open easily. Push the smoke alarm button to start the drill. Try feeling your way in the dark or with your eyes closed. Have at least two ways out of every room. If your first way out is blocked by fire or smoke, you can use your second way out. If there is smoke, get low and go. Crawl quickly under the smoke to your nearest exit. Close doors behind you. And gather at a pre-planned outside meeting place where first responders can see you. Call 911. Remember, get out and stay out. Never go back inside for people, pets, or things.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. The third public safety bill, House Bill 540, is intended to expand the use of school resource officers.
Folks, I've said it before, and I'm proud to say it again. Kentucky is a national leader in school safety. We work every day to make sure our schools are safe. We do it because it's the right thing, and we do it because we're parents. So I'm the parents of two middle schoolers that have had to go through different exercises and even a threat or two on their school. But I know that hardworking law enforcement officers have been there each and every time. And when I say this, I mean it. My kids could not have been in better hands. That makes all of us as parents really grateful, especially when we have a highly trained individual in our schools to hopefully prevent that thing we dread the most, or that person we dread the most, from ever walking through the doors. Last year, I signed House Bill 63, which required all local public schools to have a school resource officer per campus as funding and personnel allows. School resource officers allow our schools to have trained law enforcement on site, ready to respond in our times of need, to also mentor our children and be aware of critical needs that must be met to keep our kids safe. Those SROs are an important part of our kids' success, which is why today I'm signing House Bill 540. It will expand definitions related to the use of school resource officers to apply to private or parochial schools so that all Kentucky schools can keep their students and staff safe.
One of the projects that I've been able to work on in recent years is obviously anything to do with school safety. And we implemented the 10-point safety plan in Fayette County Public Schools. And it was very, very important that the one key facet to our work was the connectedness that we had with our skilled law enforcement officers in the community. There are many districts out in the nation that are choosing alternative paths to provide school safety and security. And I am fortunate that we in Fayette County have chosen to go with actual law enforcement officers. This bill will allow our parochial schools to not compromise on that incredible standard that we have implemented in Lexington.
I count it an honor to play a role in protecting Kentucky's children and our school staff while they go to school to learn and to grow and to thrive. And so when we saw that the current legislation would not allow a partnership to be created with local law enforcement or the Kentucky State Police, I reached out to Representative All to ask him about pulling together this legislation. So I thank you as a freshman representative that you took that chance on us because you saw that protecting our children is number one. And I know sharing being a parent with you, I share being a grandparent with the mayor. We all want our children safe, and we want them safe in school. And so I thank everyone who played a role in this, and we look forward to getting the work done.
Here we go. Congratulations.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good job.
Just the first one. There we go. Thank you. So congratulations both to Lexington, Fayette County, as well as the rest of our state. This is an example where people came together of multiple parties of different backgrounds and realized that public safety isn't a Democrat or Republican thing. It's not red or blue. It's not right or left. It's just necessary to move our people forward. It's this type of cooperation and good legislation that can help all of our families thrive and hopefully open conversations maybe in the tougher of subjects out there. I think it's also the best of governance when we focus on those core things where if our families can't answer them, they don't get to anything else. Those are questions like, do I have a good job where I can provide security for my family and opportunity for my kids? Are my kids getting the best education they can? Can I afford to take my parents or my kids to a doctor when they're sick? And do I feel safe in my home and in my community? I think because of today's bills, we're going to have a lot of hard-working law enforcement heroes. More tomorrow than yesterday on our streets, ensuring the safety of our communities.
Veterans in need of medical care received a boost this past week with the opening of the newest Fisher House. We joined officials for the ribbon cutting.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate the opportunity to show off this beautiful day, this beautiful celebration. This is the 93rd Fisher House that the foundation has built, and the first one at the VA location within the state of Kentucky. So we're certainly proud to bring a service that is going to improve the veteran experience tremendously. We've all been at the bedside of a loved one where we've had to travel, where we've had to worry about gas and tolls and where you're going to stay and how am I going to eat. And essentially what a Fisher House does is it removes all those issues for our beloved families. This is a 13,500 square foot Fisher House. We have 16 guest rooms, 8 on the first floor and 8 on the top floor. And in addition to these guest rooms, we have 5 common areas. So a very large kitchen that will accommodate a full house. We have a dining room that seats 30. We have a library, a family room, and even a laundry facility. And whether a veteran and their family are here for a day or a month, there's never a charge to stay at the Fisher House. So it's just a beautiful place for them to lay their head, grab a meal, get some respite, and then go back to the medical facility and take care of their loved one. So that's what we do.
Thank you. The keys to your Fisher House.
That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media. Check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on LexingtonKY.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.